You see this even with science, with all of these scientists that have come with major breakthroughs before. All of them treated with such hostility by their own scientific community, seekers of objectivity and truth and, unbiased perspectives. And yet these people have been massacred publicly, politically, emotionally, mentally, physically. And we've come so far from this truth because, as we've discussed before, this huge division that lies between religion and spirituality and science. No one for the longest time ever could see the two integrating so perfectly together. There's always this idea amongst scientists and religious figureheads alike. Both of them agree that science cannot prove anything that lies in the subjectivity or in the realm of spirituality and religion. This is an untouched part of human life that science can never question. And because science can never question, science cannot apprehend it or measure it, it ends up dismissing it altogether. But if you look at the purpose, the function of science, right? In fact, there was a time in which religion and science did work together. Religion used science to apprehend the natural truths, the divine laws. And it wasn't until religion started to question these natural truths that science was simply revealing. And when religion started to reject them because it went against the paradigm of the time or the ambitions of the religious leaders of the time, and they saw them potentially losing control, what did they do? They reacted with hostility, rejecting the truth instead of changing its attitude towards that truth. So even though it started long before Galileo, it wasn't really until that time where Galileo was able to prove, right, through the telescope, that we are not, in fact, the center of the universe. The sun is the center of at least our solar system. We revolve around the sun. We are not so important after all. And religion's inability to integrate this truth with its teachings, to understand, to comprehend, to maybe reassess our relationship with what we think is true. We just denied it altogether. And so this pivotal moment created this huge divide between the two. And now you see in our modern day and age, the new religion of humanity, the thing that we rely on, the thing that we go for answers, the place that we find purpose, that we seek solutions, that we seek for our mental peace, that we look for in terms of ways of living and perceiving life, all comes down to science as the new religion of this world. Because all of us have an inherent pull towards truth. And when we sense something is deceptive, that something is not fully acknowledging that truth, it creates a block between us and that deception. We feel an abrasiveness between the two, between our own inherent nature and the thing that we're trying to reconcile with. And because of this disconnect, naturally, it's understandable that we have pulled away from religion, from these figureheads that have abused the blind faith of so many people, who have deceived, who have discredited things that are so blatantly and obviously true and right and correct. that it makes us question the very foundation of those religious institutions. It's totally understandable as to why people have turned away from religion. Science has provided us with so much outcome because of its acknowledgement of these vital truths, of these natural laws that it observes, these natural laws that have allowed us to develop such significant advancements in our technology, in our science, in our medicine, right? And we're able to perform surgeries. We have so many treatments for things, antibiotics, we have AC, internet, we have so many advancements that we've come to think that, yes, this is, how could you not accept science? How could you not trust it? Right? We don't question the temperature that water boils because we have such reliance upon the scientific foundation behind it. Right? Someone else has done it before us, and science has created such an institution that we don't need to test things ourselves anymore. We can rely on the testings of others that have come before us. And in a way, this also creates problems. Because what is evolution in consciousness without testing ourselves? Science is one droplet from an ocean. You can take that droplet, look at all of its components, look at the structure, the nature of it, measure it, analyze it, look at its molecules, look at all the ingredients within it, and through that, you get a picture of the world. The problem is, because of this division between religion and science, our picture of the world is just this droplet of water, because this droplet of water has separated itself from this vastness of this ocean to the point in which we look at this droplet unaware, because we have not established a scientific or strong connection between that droplet and that ocean. And without that reference, without establishing that connection, even just on a scientific principle, on a scientific level, right? Our understanding, our capacity, our limitations are set. And they're skewed. Even with the most objective and sincere scientists out there, if they have not established that connection, we cannot truly understand the nature of that droplet of water, no matter what we observe about it, no matter what we can measure, no matter what we can validate about its existence, until we can truly say that, yes, this comes from the ocean. What does this say about the ocean? Science, its function is to measure the vastness of God's creation, its vastness, not its smallness. And so our attitude towards this truth, or lack thereof, is the root cause, the stem, the seed of all of these problems we see today. It's science's inability to address mental health. It's science's inability to produce quality crops, to alter the nutrient content, to alter our environment, to remove toxicity and restore or regenerate our environment, our agriculture, our air, life. We've reached capacity of that droplet of water. We've measured many things about it. We've studied it. We've made many advancements within that little sphere. And now we've reached the outer edge of that sphere, that surface tension that surrounds that droplet, that separates it. That ceiling, that limitation. And as we all know, what our science has established, right? Divine Connection International, right? This scientific foundation that we've created between that droplet of water and that vast ocean shows that this consciousness, this divine grace, is the entirety of that ocean. And from that ocean, that is the force that sustains us, that controls and governs us, that gives us life, that creates our lives, that creates perception, that creates the mind and the body, not the other way around. It is not what we do with our bodies and our minds that creates wellness, that creates vitality, that creates life, but rather what this source of life does for us. This pure consciousness is able to establish. The more its presence exists in this world, the more vitality reigns supreme over our lives.